Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Same Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. Now, yesterday we brought our boy Boltyn back for 3 rounds of Classic Constructed. We made some changes to the deck, so let's go over those changes now. Alright friends, let's take a look at the changes that we made to this deck. First off, we're going to abandon our Dawnblade attempt, pull out these blue steel blade shunts, and our sideboard instead going to go with 3 snag. Looking to try to get chain on this, see what we can do. Second up, pulling out the Ravenous Rabble. It was a cute trick to try. I don't like our 2-card hands, and our best 2-card hand is going to be Enlightened Strike and something else. So we're bringing the Enlightened Strikes back in. They don't combo necessarily all the time the way we want to, but the card is powerful, and we're going to stick with it. All right, Captain's Call. I've been enjoying Captain's Call yellow quite a bit, and we're going to upgrade to the red. And the reason we're going to upgrade to the red is mostly because of Command and Conquer. We want to be able to give Command and Conquer Go Again or give Command and Conquer +2. I really like this card. This card has been doing everything we want it to, and I think the red will give us a little bit more action. Okay, Cross the Line coming out. I like this for the extra damage that it did, but the 1 cost is still awkward, and I think this really hinders us in our Via the Vanguard turns and our combo turns. If you think about something like the Enlightened Strike turn, what we can do with the Enlightened Strike is play this, give it Go Again, either through Boltyn's ability or just use its natural ability, swing for 5 with Go Again, and then do a charged attack and actually get a charge in, but we don't need to worry about the Go Again. So we're going to take these Cross the Line out, and we're going to bring back some of our 0-cost cards. And hey, look, I finally got my 3rd Command and Conquer, so that is definitely going in. It's a very powerful card. And these cards, while they attack for 2, is not great. I think we're going to find better ways to combo with this. Like I said, we can do Enlightened Strikes with Go Again and then do a charge attack. It's not the sequencing that I would prefer. I'd rather do little small attacks first and smack them hard with a big attack afterwards, but I think that'll work just fine. Another thing that's coming out is Plunder Run. I understand the on-hit effect. The problem is we're a racing deck, and we want to go, and getting these setup turns is more difficult, and we have to commit to the Go Again before we draw the card, and it becomes kind of awkward. What I'm doing instead is Lunging Press. There's a few things I really like about this card. It gives our next attack +1. We don't need to have it in our arsenal like Plunder Run. That's important for Boltyn to give things Go Again. And it pitches for blue. This is the only card, one of the only cards in our deck that pitches for blue. And this can be important because there are times where we can Command and Conquer and play something else off of this if that comes up. And finally, we're going to take out some remnants here. Celestial Cataclysm. I love the card, but I think 3 is too many. There's just so many times that this becomes pitch, or this becomes charge fodder, or this is a block. And while it does all of those things just fine, I think we can safely go down to 2 and not have any problems. Razor Reflex, this was a card I was trying out. Again, I don't like the pay. I don't want to pay for anything. And then Steel Blade Shunt, we had one in the main. We're taking it out. I don't think I think there's something to be said for having defensive reactions in the main, and there's most of the time I'm siding them in, so I'm considering just taking out some yellows and putting those in full time. But it's not. It hasn't done. I think it's okay to take that out, and I'm bringing back our 3 Take Flights. Take Flight is our best charge card, and even at 2 damage, I think it's okay. And it does everything that we want it to do. So giving us the charge, giving us the go again automatically, being able to swing Raiden after that. So that becomes a 5 attack, and that seems okay. So those are our major changes, and let's talk about how we did. Our first round was with an Azalea opponent. This is the first time I got to play Azalea, so I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. So I brought in the shunts, the soul shields, and our defensive reactions. I was ready for Azalea to come in with big arrow attacks with on-hit effects that I really didn't want. So that was my primary defense. I took the yellows out to make sure that we had enough room for our defensive reactions. And man, this started out as kind of a weird match. I started with my opening hand. I went first, and my opening hand was I went second. I did go second. And my opening hand was 2 Command and Conquers and some other things. So my first attack was to pitch one of the Command and Conquers and throw the other one at him. My hand was just kind of very weird, so I wanted to get those out of my hand. And so I threw Command and Conquer at him to start with. And the next hand I immediately drew another Command and Conquer. He took the hit. He lost the card out of his arsenal. I think he was looking to have big swingbacks, and I don't think that worked quite as well as he wanted to. So my first 2 attacks were both Command and Conquers, both hitting, both taking a card from his arsenal, really hurting his stride there. I think those cards in arsenal would have done very well for him. I also had a decent sized block and ran back an E-Strike with 2 cards in hand. At one point, he came across with an arrow that had 2 plunder runs attached to it, both from Arsenal, and that was coming across for 12. Unfortunately for him, Boltyn blocks for 12 very well, and so I laid down my hand. He didn't get the 2 card draws, and I think he was really hoping that hit, and I didn't let it. The new setups for the new changes I made for the deck were working excellent. I was able to find my attacks, find the go-agains, and really swing in a lot. The game ended where he was at 1 and I was still at 24. So very strong showing. The deck was really doing well. The second round, I was up against a Saber Boltyn. This is the first time I was up against a Saber Boltyn, but I know the idea. The important thing is to watch out for the Sabers. This person was still a little bit new to the deck, and we talked about some of his sequencing and how he did things. Saber Boltyns can kill Chain, which my deck can't. So that's the important thing. And you need to watch out for when he's going to decide to go off. So the important thing here is was to go very aggressive. I was looking to, I was looking to get the 2 card draws, and I think he was really hoping that hit, and I didn't let it. The important thing here is was to go very aggressive. I was looking to, I was looking to get the 2 card draws, and I think he was really hoping that hit, and I didn't let it. The important thing here is was to go very aggressive. I was looking to to take him out as soon as I can. I did still bring the defensive reactions in there, the Fate for Scenes and the Sink Belows. I wanted to have extra block available for that Saber's turn. I knew it was coming, and that can kill you outright. So it's very important to watch out for that. I'm considering putting Sabers in the side, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So again, when you're facing against Boltyn, you don't want to block that first attack. You want to make sure that you let those small charge attacks through, provided it's not a take flight. Take flight you can block. The other attacks you don't want to give +1s to, so that you can give it go again. He was building up his charge pretty well. He had a good number of cards in his arsenal, or in his soul. That made me nervous. But my goal was to keep putting pressure on him. I wanted to make sure that I was still pulling cards from his hand. I didn't want him to have a double Lumia turn, and I had some awkward hands there. I had hands that I had 2 or 3 hands in a row that didn't have any charge to them, and I was looking for ways to pump up my attacks, give them go again, fire again. I used my Snapdragon scalers in there, really trying to put a lot of pressure on him, and I think that worked in the end. When he did have his Saber's turn, he only had 1 Lumia Ascension. I was able to block out the first attacks. The third attack, I mostly blocked out, but he did gain some life off of that and got his charge effect, and the fourth attack I just took. But I think the life total difference that I had by that point didn't make that swing very impactful. If he had managed to get the second Sabers, or the second Lumia, I would have been in a lot of trouble. But he didn't, and so that push let me take him out in the end, and really put a lot of pressure on him. So round 3 was against none other than Louis himself, and of course he was running Chain. I brought in my full sideboard and just scooped that up and threw that in there, and hoped that all my defensive reactions, I took out some yellows to try to make room. I was running probably a 66 card deck. Man, Chain's a monster. He really is. I played 2 turns in a row that I had Take Flight, followed by a Valiant Thrust, followed by Raiden. So that's a 14 point turn. He was taking a lot of that damage. I managed to get him down to 3 life, and he was at 7 shackles, and 7 shackles kills me. So still haven't beaten Chain. I don't think this build can beat Chain, and I think that's important to look at. I did have probably a misplay. I had some really, really weird hands. My opening hand, I went first, and I couldn't attack because I had defensive reactions and Celestial Cataclysm in hand. It is really bad. So I basically Arsenal passed for my first turn. Was managed to able to use a Sink Below, get rid of some of my cards, and come back and start attacking. But I'm wondering if instead of having quite the sideboard I have for that, is to put in the Saber build as a sideboard for Chain. That might be the only way that I can have enough power early enough to take him out. I did have the snags in there. I did see one of them. I ended up using it on a Celestial Cataclysm. There's probably an argument that I should have waited on it till later, till the Rift Binds came out, and used it on a Rift Bind. But I think doing the math and looking at all that, I would have been down 2 points more, and he still had a bunch of fuel. He was going to kill me either way. So in the future, I'm going to consider sideboarding the Sabres build. I got to take a look at that because Sabres wants to do different things, and that might not work out as well with this build, but we'll take a look. Next week we're going to do Commoner, and that's going to be followed by Tales of Aria Sealed. So we'll be changing things up a little bit. We won't see this deck for a while, and I might put this deck away for a while. I'm worried that Boltyn is not going to do well in Tales of Aria meta. I think that the Frostbite tokens are going to be devastating to what Boltyn wants to do. Since he is all zero cost, Frostbite is going to make him pay more, and that's going to just kind of make it more clunky. So I might put this deck away for a while. I'd like to try Levia. We'll see if I can get the cards that I need before then, and we'll see how that goes.